everyone, and welcome tonight to day number 239. 239, here we are. I believed when we began on day one, Zhenya and I were online together and the missiles started flying. We said we'd cover it every day. We thought seven days. Here we are, 239 days, and I've been to Ukraine and back, and we're prepping now to go back, and we've built a great community, and it's just getting better all the time as far as how we, as people of this world, can help Ukraine. 9:01 Eastern Standard Time, almost 9:02, 6:02 out in California, 4:02 a.m. in Ukraine, and I want to thank you for being here. Thank you, as always, to our moderators. Thank you to all of the active community, and I want to give a special thank you to the chat last night. You guys were phenomenal. I was in there with you. We're chatting, we're talking, we're having a great time, and that's actually enjoyable. But with that, we saw a request come from Zhenya needing some trauma shears, and you guys jumped on board. We during the program, we got them on the Amazon list, and then I think Iron Farrell already shipped a chunk, and more will be coming, and we're just so thankful. With that said, why don't we start here, where Mr. Matsutsa says thank you.
Hello from Ukraine. It's unbelievable. Thank you for so quick response for the need of trauma shears. Thank you for buying it so quickly and for responding this way. Thank you. Thank you for standing together. God bless you richly.
So there you have it. A nice thank you this evening from Zhenya. One thing I wanted you to pay attention to there. Did you notice what he was wearing? It was no more of these short sleeve shirts. He had on a sweater. He had on a vest. He was out running some errands, and you can see the weather's changing. We're going to be talking about that quite a bit this evening. I want to jump right now over to some news, get you guys updated. I've got some incredible video, and tonight you're going to see what was in the yellow bag. Let's start here. This information came out from Ukraine today, and it's basically saying we're 10% from crisis on the electrical grid, and it is asking all citizens of Ukraine, all businesses of Ukraine to help conserve, especially between 7 a.m. and 11 o'clock at night. So you see a chart there. You can see the icons. I do not need to translate that for you. You see refrigerators and heaters and irons and TVs and different types of, as Zhenya would call it, Technic equipment. So the grid is under major strain, and we are approaching it. Now, a couple of videos I want to show you here in regard to the power, in regard to what are people going to do when it gets cold. I have two clips that I'm going to show you tonight. The first one is, let's jump down to Mykolaiv. This is a gentleman. He sent his family out. Mykolaiv is a city under assault always, and he's showing how he is going to prepare and heat his house for the winter.
Это было окно было. Ну, вывалил окно, купил буржуйку, трубу вывел. Вот, в принципе. Там люди из старых баков сами варят буржуйки. Лист оцинковки, ну как бы это гарантия того, что если у вас какой-то жар упадет, то не загорится ничего. Это как атомная станция. Если раскочегарил, быстро ее не остудишь. Если уже дров не будет, то можно в принципе топить там чем угодно. И резиной, и пластмассой.
That, my friends, is called resourcefulness. So I wish that man well, and it's just getting tough, folks. And I don't know how I can stress this enough, but it just gets cold there. It gets really, really cold. In addition to that, Arestovich came out. He was being interviewed. He was chatting with this lady on an interview that was out for the public in Ukraine. And he made some remarks. And of course, this is coming out of Kyiv. This is out of connected to the president's office. Spokesperson for Ukraine. He does this daily. He made some statements in regard to the heat, in regard to the winter temperatures and what could be coming and how Ukrainians will respond. Here is Arestovich.
Мы вполне можем оказаться перед ситуацией, когда мы неделями, а то и месяцами будем сидеть либо без воды, без света, без тепла, либо с большими ограничениями. Это проблема. Но есть нюанс. Мы посидим некоторое время без воды, без света и без тепла. Мы умеем справляться, выживать, но и президент Зеленский очень везучий. Сколько мы не пророчили страшных зим, я думаю, что и нынешняя зима будет в основном плюс 5, плюс 7. Уж как-нибудь, да, мы мы имеем большой опыт. У нас еще все люди помнят 90-е, основная масса, и знают, как выживать вообще при нулевых батареях. Поэтому для нас эта цена, померзнем, посидим, водичку поносим в ведрах, да, из бюветов, да, в бутылочках, да, и что-нибудь, и дома будем создавать палатки со свечками внутри, чтобы было потеплее. Попрячемся в убежище от ракет, от тревог. А Путин что будет делать, когда не сработает эта стратегия?
That, my friends, right there is called leadership, good spokesperson, intestinal fortitude, and this is why absolutely we stand and believe that Ukraine is going to win this war as the world comes together. They have the mentality and they have the heart. So, going to be tough, but you can see the resolve there from Arestovich. Now, we've been talking about Belarus for days and days and days, and everyone says it's just a distraction, and it is, but it's a distraction that must be paid attention to. Now, with that said, we're paying much more attention to Belarus. Why? Because today, MiG-31s were flying everywhere. They were running on the borders nonstop. Up in the upper right-hand corner of that, you actually see a bulletin from the Defense Forces of Belarus. They came out and they said, we have the right to fly planes anywhere we want on our territory, which is true, but we know what's really happening. It's Russian forces, it's the MiG-31s, and it is just increasing the pressure on Belarus and Ukraine. Now, what happens with that? Let's take a look at that. Here's a graphic just released from Ukraine. 70,000 soldiers are having to pay attention to the northern border. We've got 30,000 in the left corner, or that would be the northwest corner, 16,000. This includes actives and reserves in the central, which would be near Chernobyl, and 22,000 up above Chernihiv. 70,000 troops. The red line you see there is the border. I drew that in there between Ukraine and Belarus. And friends, when you see something like that, that's much more than a distraction. In fact, General Staff came out today, made some statements about Belarus, not overly worried, but absolutely having to pay attention to and give some focus to. Ukraine cannot have a letdown if there was an invasion from the north. He also made statements coming out of Kyiv today that the invasion would not be like it was in February and March when the war began. Not straight down to Kyiv, not straight down toward Chernihiv, but they would expect that the attack would come into the Volyn, into the Rivne, into the Zhytomyr regions, and try to push down into the west, of course, to head for Lviv, to cut off the supply lines, to cut off that border with Poland. That was spoken about today out of Kyiv, and I have a little video clip to share with you in regard to that. Here that is.
На Волинському, Житомирському та Київських напрямках обстановка стабільна. Разом з тим, посилюється агресивна риторика військово-політичного керівництва Росії та Білорусі, якою супроводжується розгортання регіонального угруповання військ так званої союзної держави. Загроза відновлення Збройними силами Російської Федерації наступу на Північному фронті зростає. Цього разу напрямок наступу може бути змінений на захід білорусько-українського кордону для перерізання основних логістичних артерій постачання озброєння та військової техніки України від країн-партнерів. На території Білорусі тривають заходи розгортання авіаційних підрозділів, підрозділів інших родів військ сил Збройних сил Російської Федерації на відповідних аеродромах та об'єктах військової інфраструктури, у тому числі на тих, що передані під повний контроль Збройним силам Російської Федерації. В рамках зазначеного на території Білорусі проводяться заходи з підготовки до прихованої мобілізації. Водночас Республіка Білорусь продовжує надавати свою територію для запуску балістичних ракет та дронів. Вона розмістила на своїх аеродромах літаки МіГ-31, що можуть бути озброєні крилатими ракетами типу «Калібр». Ми теж на це реагуємо.
That was a very clear, very concise statement from the general staff. And I know sometimes it seems like we're beating a dead horse in here, but we've been speaking about Belarus and Belarus and Belarus. The bottom line, it's pretty simple. You can't keep sending troops there, sending munitions there, sending airplanes there, taking over air bases, and it just ultimately be for show. At some point, there can be a trigger pull on that. And Ukraine, as you can see, preparing. We see what's going on, and we will react and respond as needed. Now, another option, we talked about a couple of these last night. I want to jump in real quick because a video was released today from Ukraine showing what would happen if the Kakhovka Dam broke. Now, of course, that would be the bridge there at Nova Kakhovka up from the Antonivsky Bridge. But what this actually is it is a part of the infrastructure completely of it's called the Dnieper Reservoir Cascade. On that cascade, we have the Kyiv Hydroelectric Station. Then you go downriver to the Kyiv Hydro Accumulating Station. Then we have the Kaniv Hydroelectric, Kremenchuk, Middle Dnieper, and Kakhovka. 7 dams and power stations on this cascading system that comes down the Dnieper River. What would happen if one of these dams busted, and specifically the Kakhovka Dam? Take a look at this. If flooding of that nature was to take place, and that's just the Kakhovka Dam, we're talking about a weapon of mass destruction, a WMD, that could be through the natural resources there. Do I think that's on the table and a possibility? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're trying to completely destroy this nation. We're looking at the freezing. We're looking at the lack of food. We're looking at the lack of infrastructure. Why would we not consider flooding? I mean, we're just leveling cities as it is. What does it matter how we do it? Whether it's with fire, with ice, or with water, but we'll see. Now, what was Vladimir Putin doing today? After the day of the big martial law activity, what was he doing today, October the 20th? One of the things he was doing, I'll share 2 things that Vladimir Putin was doing today. One of them was he closed all tourism. Rostourism is now closed. On the left, you see the presidential edict. Rostourism, Russia tourism, is closed. So he closed tourism, and then he took a trip. He took a trip out to visit some of his soldiers and to do an inspection. Take a look at this. I'm not going to translate it. Just no need to. Just watch. This is what Putin was doing today.
Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, начальник Главного управления боеподготовки, генерал-полковник Здравия желаю. Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, начальник ГМО, генерал-полковник Здравия желаю.
Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, начальник штаба воздушно-десантных войск, генерал-лейтенант Концевой.
Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, начальник Рязанского гвардейского высшего воздушно-десантного командующего гвардии, полковник Евкадьев. Здравия желаю.
Непосредственно на убытие выполнения задач каждый военнослужащий имеет, ну, во-первых, сам стоит экипирован в бронежилете, разгрузочный жилет, оружие, соответственно, шлем. Это у него все в рюкзаке, полностью с собой комплект нательного белья, притороченный спальник, здесь коврик, маскалат, ну и, соответственно, туда. И у него отдельно вот баул такой, для сейчас с учетом грязи, вот, осень и весна. Зимой вот это осенью. Ну, соответственно, да, здесь исключительно надо.
Да. Главное, чтобы она была.
Да.
Вот в таком виде повернитесь кругом. Ну, в принципе, все позволяет ему переносить для выполнения задачи. Конечно, он это снимает, оставляя с собой малый рюкзачок. Вот, коврик может оставить. И сюда, соответственно, сухпайок и для выполнения задач боекомплекта дополнительно все укладывает. Это все у него как бы там в тыловой зоне хранится, а потом после возвращения.
А где работает? Инспектор горсовета. Патронники там? Так точно. Себя семейка. Семейка. Лет. Счастливо.
Well, that's what Vladimir Putin was doing today. And kind of interesting, huh? The inspection and the little greeting at the beginning, and then put on the glasses, shoot the gun a little bit, come out. And folks, listen to me closely. You will never see a bigger emotional move than the personal handshake and the hug that you saw at the end there from Vladimir Putin. He doesn't do that. Does not do that. Why did that happen? I think he's gone completely mad. And even being there with those guys, those soldiers on the target practice, inspecting their uniforms, their backpacks, shooting a few guns, I think he was just overjoyed. It's exactly what he wants as a dictator. Now, tonight, something special. For many of you that are new to the program and you haven't watched when I was actually in Ukraine a few weeks ago, you wouldn't know about this, but those of you that have been faithful or you've watched and you remember the yellow bag? The yellow bag. And I had it tucked in the van. I said, you know what? I can't show you what it was, but I was given a gift. And I was given a gift from my buddies in the Azov. There. It's the real patch. No, yeah. I was given a gift from my buddies in the Azov, and they said, Greg, you're legit, man. You're down here with us. We have a big gift for you. They handed me a yellow bag. Well, if you just remember watching that video and you saw President Vladimir Putin inspecting the troops, and they were looking at the backpacks and looking at the gear, drum roll, please. What was in the yellow bag? This would be my own personal Russian Federation military backpack. This is the exact backpack that you just saw on the Russian soldiers, including everything. So this was given to me as a gift, an official Russian backpack. That's what was in the yellow bag. That's why I couldn't say nothing, or I would have had a problem getting it out of the country. And then I was also given in the yellow bag. How about Vorentork? Armia Rossiya. You've got it. Food pack. MREs or whatever you guys call them. Yeah, got that. Oh, I know they have the grenade carriers. I've got that. Oh. The pistol carriers. I've got that. Name tag. Got that. Stripe for being in the Russian army. I've got that. You say, well, you don't have everything. Probably. Everything that Vladimir Putin just inspected, I just inspected. And I just showed them to you. I've been wanting to show you those, but I wanted to make sure that I did it at the right time. So for those of you that have been wondering for weeks and weeks what was in the yellow bag, that is what was in the yellow bag. Now let's finish up the update for tonight. And it's been a good update tonight. There are some interesting things going on in regard to nationals leaving. China telling their nationals to get out. Egypt telling their nationals to get out. Now, India telling their nationals, get out. Students, get out. Something's coming to Ukraine. You know, same behavior we saw early in the war. Same. This is a duplicate. And even today with the general staff coming out and talking about the presence on the northern border, I don't know, but something's going on. Nations are talking to nations, and just not sure, but I'm telling you, this is the stuff that's happening. Last couple of things for tonight. This comes from Sergei Kuslusta, who is a representative to the United Nations. He's very angry and upset because the UN representative from Russia to the UN made a statement that they would not allow any type of inspections for drones. Of course, because they are using Iranian drones. We know it. Ukraine's proven it. Iran's already said we're selling them, but not for war. And Ukraine replied, a truly moronic logic from one of the most disgusting persons UN has ever seen. Speaking about the Russian ambassador, Russia will reassess cooperation with Secretary General Antonio Guterres if he sends experts to Ukraine to inspect drones that were apparently made in Iran and used in violation of a UN resolution to kill civilians. So now we're just going to have Russia pull out of the UN. They didn't say it. I'm just saying. As well, we have a world record, folks, broken tonight or yesterday, and that is the fastest possible time ever that the European Union has dropped sanctions on anybody. Iran has now been sanctioned. After 3 days of talks, EU ambassadors agreed on measures against entities supplying Iranian drones that hit Ukraine. Written procedures over. Sanctions come into force this afternoon on publication in the official journal. That was quick. What on earth is going on? Liz Truss to resign as prime minister. And listen, the talk is already going on, and Boris has even said he would run. Boris Johnson tops the list of people Conservative Party members would most want to see take over if Liz Truss resigned. I don't know how all that stuff works over there. And we have people from Great Britain that watch. There's also that Rishi Sunak guy, or I don't want to misspeak his name, but the bottom line is this world is absolutely destabilized. And I'm here just to reiterate tonight. If you look at it very closely, it seems that everything is centrally connected around and involving this war in Ukraine. Europe is destabilized. Great Britain destabilized. America absolutely destabilized. Africa, Asia, China, Taiwan, North Korea, ripping and doing whatever they want. And Vladimir Putin out inspecting troops, shooting guns, and giving hugs. Look back to April. How those sanctions working for you, world? What we told you. The only way you take care of a bully is you put him out of the office. Well, my friends, consider yourself fully updated. Hope you enjoyed this update tonight. We speak peace to you guys and peace to Ukraine. We'll see you in 23 hours. I'll have Zhenya back tomorrow. Have a good night. Be blessed. Bye-bye.